Studying can feel like a long, painful process, something that has to take a long time. That's what I thought too back in secondary school. It felt like I was studying all day and I hated it. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. Starting medical school, I knew that something needed to change. I wanted to achieve top grades whilst doing more outside of studying, having exciting hobbies and building a thriving social life. If you're new here, I'm Anthony. I managed to score in the top 1% in medical school whilst having more time than I ever had before. I'm going to teach you how to do the same in 3 simple steps. The first step is rewiring your mind. Everything to do with studying and your grades is downstream from whether you have a positive or negative mindset. If you look at other people's results and think, I can never achieve those kind of grades. Oh, they work for him because he was genetically blessed. He's just naturally talented or naturally smart. You're already setting yourself up for failure if you think like that. Up until my GCSEs, I was always sitting towards the bottom of my class. I always looked at others with jealousy. Looking back, I must have developed all these limiting beliefs, and of course, I stayed at the bottom. But then I started watching these videos on YouTube of people getting top grades, and something switched in my head. Instead of feeling jealous, I flipped that feeling of jealousy into a feeling of inspiration. I thought to myself, if these people can do it, then I can do it too. You start to cultivate a positive mindset around your capability, genuinely believing that you can get there with the right study techniques. If somewhere deep down subconsciously you don't feel like you can achieve a certain grade, then you just won't achieve it, because you are what you do. You do what you think about. And so your thoughts literally dictate your reality. The second thing is that you're just following trends. You're following what other people do. You're a follower and you're not a leader in your own mind. You look to everyone else for guidance, following them blindly without really thinking about what will work for you. You're watching hundreds of study videos. Each study video tells you something different, and it just confuses you, makes you overthink and overcomplicates the whole process of studying. Studying should be a simple process. I like to always think about KISS. Keep it stupidly simple. It's simple, but it's not easy. Most people know what to do, but they just don't do it. So the solution is test and experiment with one thing and see if it works for you. If after a good amount of time, say a couple weeks, it doesn't work, then you can change to something else. But don't try and take on 7 new study techniques at the same time. In reality, there are study techniques that will bring you far greater returns than others. Learning about active recall techniques, which include flashcards, doing question papers, implementing spaced repetition where you study a certain topic and then you leave a longer interval before you study the topic again. You start to generate all these different connections in your brain, strengthening them every time until they just become so deeply embedded that they become part of your memory that you never forget. The more you stick to one study technique that works for you, the more you start to refine that technique. You start to become more effective and efficient. And so you end up saving so much time, because becoming a master of one technique will make you faster. You'll be so dialed in to what works for you. The third thing is Parkinson's law, which is the idea that work expands to fill the time allocated for its completion. So in basic terms, if you set yourself 2 hours to do something, you'll do the task within those 2 hours. If you set 8 hours to do something, you'll do the task within those 8 hours. Just by setting yourself a smaller interval, it forces you to study faster. And you might be thinking, doesn't that mean that I will produce worse quality results? But actually no. From personal experience and from the experience of friends, actually the quality of your work doesn't really decrease when you set that stricter time limit. Obviously, if it's 24 hours versus 2 hours, then that's a bit of a drastic difference. But if you're setting, for example, 4 hours versus 2 hours, actually, it's almost just as effective to give yourself that time limit of 2 hours, because you'll just naturally work harder to complete the task within that time limit. If you've ever been on a run before, and you've ever used a watch to time your run, you'll understand how the simple fact that you can see your time means that you run faster, you run a faster time. For example, you're pushing yourself to reach a certain minute per mile, but just by the simple task of actually setting a time means that you work faster and at the same time with a similar amount of quality. If you found this video useful, you're very likely to find the free community that I'm building useful too. It's going to include everything that I've learned in the last 5 years of being a medical student, how to study effectively in your exams, how to optimize your productivity, how to achieve your dream physique, how I was able to grow this YouTube channel to over 10,000 subscribers in less than 6 months, and access to a community of like-minded, ambitious medics who want to level up in every aspect of their life and become more than a medic. The value there is going to be insane, and I'm going to be giving it all away for free. If you want to find out more about this free community, check out the link in the description below. But anyway guys, as always, God bless and let's win together.